Hey guys and girls, welcome back to another beautiful video on this beautiful channel on this beautiful day. How you guys and girls doing? Hope you're doing great as always. Please check out the description box for all the nice links. Also drop a like, subscribe if you like the content. Here we are, game number 2. We just finished off the first game and I think it went pretty well. It's a very simple game. If you haven't checked it out, you might want to do that. And also check out the SFML tutorials and all that stuff. I'll get to that in a second. But let's just go through this game number 2 that we're going to make. Now this game is going to have, well, basically a window, a game class, moving shapes. With that I mean the player itself, and then maybe even the balls. And obviously the game's name is going to be Pick Up Swag Balls. I don't know, I didn't come up with anything better. Not funny at all, but still, there you go. So we're going to spawn the actual balls in question, and it's going to be a new type of shape, which is a circle shape. Now, I just want this is to show you the difference between the two. It's not that big of a difference, just to, you know, spoiler alert, but still, it's there. And then fonts, obviously, point number 4. The 6th point is important because now we're not going to do everything in main like we did in the last game. We're going to have player and balls separate in different classes, so we can separate all the logic and easily make players and balls and all that stuff. And then we're going to move the player using the keyboard. It isn't something really new since we used the mouse in the last game, but still, it's going to be a good thing to learn. Fonts and text. I did say that before. I know I have 2 points on that. That's dumb. Anyway, simple collision. With that, I mean there's not going to be any complex pixel collision or anything like that. It's just going to be a simple SFML built-in collision, simple, you know, bounding box collision type thing. I'll explain as we go. We did touch on that in the last video, or in the last series, where we collided with the mouse pointer on the objects, but now it's going to be 2 objects with each other, so that's kind of the difference. And then if we do have time, we'll just implement a little health bar to show you how you can implement these small bars and stuff. We're not going to do that in a class in this video. It's just going to be outside, and that's not the best way to do it. Obviously you want a class, but there you go. Okay, so we're in the Visual Studio app, and I have to say that I don't want to remake the videos on setting up SFML and setting up basically just all the files, because it's a waste of time basically. You can just watch the first few videos in the last mini-series, the last game, and you'll see how you link SFML. But by now you should probably know. Otherwise, I'll start off from scratch. So it's not like I'm going to copy all the code. So don't worry about that. We'll be starting from scratch. And here's what I want you to do. So your main should just look like this. I want you to include game.h, and iostream does not need to be included here, just game.h. You can using namespace SF if you want. I'm not going to be using it. And basically what that does is, instead of having to write SF : when you're creating a window or whatever using SFML stuff, you can just write window directly. So it's going to kind of be in this namespace. And that's the C++ thing. So I want to tell you guys to watch C++ tutorials before this series, and also SFML tutorials, although this is more aimed towards you guys who don't know SFML, so I'm probably going to try to make this very tutorialish in every single game. But so you know, you should know some C++ before starting this off. Anyway, once you have created this file, it looks like this. Your game.cpp is just going to include game.h, nothing special, and your main is going to be pretty much empty like this. So make sure you pause the video and copy these. So what we're going to start off by doing is our main function here. And this is just going to have the game loop, and it's going to initialize srand. That's all it's going to do. And srand is basically the randomization seed for C++. So initialize random seed. Okay. And to do that, I'm going to have to include ctime in my game.h. Since I'm including game.h in main, I'll get that file here as well. So I'm just going to say srand unsigned. You don't have to really care about all this stuff if you're not sure about it. Just make sure you write it this way. So that's how you want to do it. And this is going to initialize the time for you. Now in between here, what we're going to do, we're going to have our game loop. And this game loop is going to depend on the window from our game class, and also if you want to end the game or not. It's going to be a little variable in there. So initialize game object. And basically all we're going to do there is we're going to say game. That's it. So we're initializing a game object here. Now we don't have a constructor and stuff, so let's go ahead and create that. This video is just going to be set up, so it's not going to be all the complicated stuff. So first of all, you want a game object like this. And you don't want it under private, you want it under public. And you want a game destructor like that. Boom. And if you don't know how to do that, what you want to do is control period, and you should get that. I'm not 100% efficient with these shortcut commands, but I do try. Constructors and destructors. Bro, that's what's up. Okay, there we go. Looking nice, looking clean. There you go. You have your game.h. Everything's fine. And I'm just going to keep everything commented. This is a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now functions, accessors, modifiers. And basically the difference is accessors get variables from this class and modifiers modify the variables in this class, and functions are just general stuff that you can both modify, get, and do all kinds of stuff with these variables. But our first variable is going to be an SF render window pointer window. And this is going to be our main window that's going to render everything. We're going to use this. We're going to work with this and everything, and it's going to be just fine. Once you have that, you also want to create a bool end game. These two things. This is all our setup video is going to be about. Here we go. Now the structure I like to have is I like to have my variables, and then I like to have some private functions that initialize all these things. So init window is going to be our function that creates our window for us. And in order to create a window, you need something called a SF video mode. Okay, I'm just going to call it video mode. And this is very fancy name for something very simple. It's just going to hold some information about the size, the width, and the height of the window, and some details like that. So you don't have to worry too much about it. And it's going to make our life a little easier when we're working with the window. Once that's done, I want you also to create a function called init variables, and I want these to be under private. I'm not doing it wrong here, if you're thinking it, because I don't want the programmer to be able to call these from outside. I want these to be called in the constructor to make it a little more structured. Before you forget though, I want you to call these right now. So init variables first, init this, init window. Now they're not doing anything right now, but I just want to make sure you call these right now, so you don't forget. Once that's done, that was in game CPP, by the way. Go back to your game.h file. Look at everything you have. Just make sure it's all here, video mode, window, and game. Okay. Go back to your game.cpp. Now the first thing we're going to do is in init variables, I'm going to say this end game equals false, because I don't want to end the game right now. Initializing the window is a little more complicated. The first step is going to be this video mode equals SF video mode, and we're going to set the video mode width to maybe 800 and the height to 600, and we're just going to leave the bits per pixel alone. We don't need to care about that. There is a way to get your current video mode, your current resolution, and that way would be to say SF video mode : get desktop mode, and it would get the mode your desktop is currently in. But we're not going to do that because we want a very set size so we can work with our game and not have to worry. Once the video mode is set, we're going to create a new window. New SF render window. There we go. We're going to pass in the video mode. Okay, we're going to say, I'm going to give it a title, game 2. And we're going to give it a style. Sorry about that. Now, the style is important because the default style lets you resize the window, lets you do all that stuff. But we don't want that. We want a style that is very, very simple. So SF style, you can see all the styles here. what I want is I want the close button, and also I want the title bar. So I want these two things. So you separate these with one of these horizontal or vertical lines. All right, a bitwise, I think it's a bitwise something. I'm not 100% sure anymore. But anyway, if you do this, you get both of these styles. And the title is going to be game 2, and we're going to use this video mode. So there you go. Congratulations, your window is created, and you're all good to go. You don't have to do anything more than that. Except before you forget, just delete the window. Delete this window. Otherwise, you won't. You'll get a big memory leak. So make sure you delete the window and everything like that. Once that's done, I want you guys to go down here and create a section called functions, because this is what's gonna, get our make our engine come to life, basically. So there are two functions that we're gonna use: update and void render. And these two functions are gonna make sure our game updates and renders, basically. And they're gonna be used in the game loop. So this is pretty much a setup completed for this. We're not gonna render the window in this video. It's a little more to that. I need to explain a lot more about these update and render. But I'll end the video here, and then we'll make the game loop and render the window in the next video. Make sure you subscribe, drop a like. Also check out the SFML tutorials, C++ tutorials, and the description box and everything. There's a little eye on the top right where I'll link some important playlists and stuff where you can check out those other playlists. But thank you for sticking with me. Thanks for all the support. I'll see you guys and girls in the next one, all right? Bye-bye.